if you were forced to give up an item, let's just say OV scores his, what's the record for goals? 871. I think it is, Wayne's. Say he scores 872 and against the opposition, and let's say Shesterkin, let's say it's in New York, and he fires the puck into the crowd, the goalie for the Rangers, and you catch it. And then the Capitals come over to you and tap on the glass. Can we get that puck? It's Ovi's. It's the record-breaking goal. A, you don't want to give it to him, but B, you know you should. What would be an appropriate...
But C, that's $1 million puck
right
in your hand.
They say the football's $500,000.
Okay.
That's what they're saying.
So the puck would be... This didn't break a record. The puck would be right there.
No, what would you want?
$500,000.
You scumbag!
That'd be the coolest thing to have the record-breaking puck. But you know what?
Oh, it's $894. Sorry. So if it's $895, you catch the puck for $895. Because what Tom said was, we'll get him a helmet, maybe a couple jerseys or something. I'm not quite like you.
Yeah.
Not a complete pimp like you. I would say, I want the helmet. I want the jerseys. I want season tickets. I want lunch with you at the Golden Corral tomorrow, Tom. And let me think about it a little longer, and then I'll get back to you.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Is that your boat?
Nah, working on it. That's not mine. It's a friend's.
You have a bigger boat than that, huh? Let me come down and ride around on the boat with you. We could broadcast from the boat. You could do your show, I could do my show, and really there would be no reason for me to leave.
How about that?
Was that your boat in the clip? Are you doing your show from that?
You're the second guy to ask that today. I think that's not, but we're working on it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Everybody wants to come to Florida. Hey, check the temperature, everybody. It ain't that great right now. It's hot. Welcome to a football Friday. And as my neighbor said the other day, she goes, and it's only effing April 1st. Right? Welcome to Football Friday. Where's my bell? Was I ready? As far as you know. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Let's bring in the Moose. Ramuski, he's in Toronto. I've made it clear that I am in Florida. What's going on, Moose? Are you ready for the weekend?
Yes, I am ready for the weekend. We're all kind of dragging our asses today. A little bit, it feels like. But you know what? It's Friday. That's what we do on Friday. Casual Friday, couple extra cups of coffee. We'll be okay.
I feel like we've had a few extra casual days on the RP show this week, but that's okay. It's allowed. And I just can't wait to get to the next 2 hours of sports talk and brighten everybody's day, because that's what we do here on Game Plus Television across Canada and 32 U.S. states on your telly, and streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found. The CFL on TSN's Jim Barker is coming up in hour 2. Boys, can you hit the quick six show horn? We'll get going. We'll get this Boeing going. Quick Six Show Topics opens with this. The big story in my world, because it's Canada, is hockey. That's why a lot of people came here today. That's where we'll start. Backup Eric Comrie made 26 saves for his second shutout in 2 months, and the Winnipeg Jets beat the Vegas Golden Knights 4-0. They're kryptonite. They beat them. The Jets took a step towards securing the Central Division title, home ice advantage. They have 3 more points than Washington in the President's Trophy race, and 4 more than Dallas in the Central Division. Meanwhile, Jeff Skinner had a goal and an assist as the Edmonton Oilers overcame an injury to Leon Draisaitl to defeat the San Jose Sharks 3-2. Draisaitl went to the locker room with an undisclosed injury in the second period. He never returned to the game. Coach Chris Knoblauch could not provide an update afterwards, and Blake Coleman scored twice, and rookie goalie Dustin Wolf made 26 saves to lead the Flames to a 4-1 victory over the Anaheim Ducks. I watched Tampa Bay at Ottawa, full marks to the Sens. They just threw a blanket over the Lightning in a lot of ways. Linus Ullmark was incredible in a 2-1 Senators win over Tampa Bay. So the races continue to be hot. And Darren, bravo to you. You seem to have a pretty good handle on what's going on right now.
Well, last night I did. Yeah, I checking those things, the scores last night because of our breakaway bets. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, I'm winning a lot of games here. I won them all, 9 for 9. And the thing is, you had a pretty good night too. I think you were 6 and 9. Like, it's going to look like I'm going to gain some ground. But yeah, we were both pretty good last night.
I'd have been in the money if I actually bet, which I don't. 58% pays. That's what the sports bettors tell me here in South Florida. And I was at 66%, but Darren was at 100%. He picked 9 of 9 correct games. Darren, did your teachers ever say to you, let me guess, Darren, you'd be so much better if you just applied yourself? When you hunkered down and got serious, you picked every one right. Did your teachers tell you that when you were a kid?
That's right. It's like when I'm engaged, nobody can stop me when I'm engaged in something.
And by the way, it's not just you. I did another one of those personality tests the other day, and it said, well, you have ADD, you can focus when you care. Yep. Yep. So that's what happened last night. Some great hockey games. The races continue to be great. Leon Draisaitl's hurt. For the Florida Panthers fans that have tuned in today, which there are many, they're practicing this morning in Ottawa. They play the Sens Saturday. We've got a watch party at the Yard House in Boca Raton tomorrow. Alexander Barkov still not playing. The biggest story, I was reading The Athletic this morning, Pierre LeBrun, the biggest story in the NHL is the injuries to the stars right now. Obviously, McDavid, Draisaitl, Alexander Barkov. There are others. But the Leafs, watching them play Florida the other night, they're all healthy, right? That's one thing you guys got going for you from what I can see.
Yeah, largely unscathed. It's been pretty good that way for the Leafs. But you're right. Some big stars, big names, not in lineups. And that's concerning when you get to this time of the year.
I welcome the Rod Squad tuning in. I wasn't complaining about the heat. What I've realized now is with my 4th summer here, or 4th year anyways, I'm getting used to it. But 4 years, you almost died when you came down here a couple of years ago. And it was April when you came down here. You struggled. You really struggled. I'm used to it now. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be 30 degrees Celsius tomorrow. That's close to 90 Fahrenheit. Rich in Edmonton writes in and he says, sorry, Rod, can't feel sorry for you when my cheeks are frozen walking up the river valley at 6:30 a.m. Jason in Red Deer, yeah, dragging our asses because of that late Oilers game last night. Well, at least they won, boys. Bill in Toronto, who gave me the Ron and Don bobblehead, says, well, good morning from sunny and cold Regina Sask. Good morning to Shy. Now, listen, don't fire any questions at us, okay? Because this is the warm-up where Moose and I talk. We'll get to your questions later. But for those that are wondering what the poll is, you can go vote on Twitter. And the poll is this: as we look forward to tonight's games, there are only 3. We'll make our picks later. But the Chicago Blackhawks are at Washington. Alex Ovechkin is 3 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's record, 2 away from tying it. And I don't know, Darren, it's brought to you, yes, boys, by EMJ Marketing. Transform your audience with a keynote speaker from EMJ Marketing's all-star roster. Peruse it at emjmarketing.com and look up Joe there. Alan May has been right all along. He's on the Capitals television broadcast. He knows his stuff. He said, 2 years ago that Ovi will break this record. He said it when we all thought that he wouldn't. And earlier this week, Alan goes, if he scores tonight, Wednesday against Carolina, which he did, he goes, he'll break it Friday night. Well, he would need a hat trick tonight to break it. That's my long-winded poll question. Do you think Alex Ovechkin ties the record tonight? Do you think Alex Ovechkin ties the record tonight? Do you think he scores a deuce against the Chicago Blackhawks to tie Wayne? My vote is no. But how about you?
My vote is no, too, because I'm with Alan. He's going to break it. I'm going on a limb. Alexander Ovechkin's not going to score 2 goals and tie the record and then just call it a night. If he gets 2, he's going to get 3. He's going to score them all. That's, the legends of the game, and Alexander Ovechkin is going to go down in history as a legend of the game. He is. And they tend to do things in dramatic fashion, right? They don't tend to just go through the motions, casually do anything. This isn't going to be, 3 empty netters and he's going to quietly do this record. No, he's going to do something dramatic, like a hat trick, including an overtime winner, or something like that is how Ovechkin's going to break it.
It's pretty awesome for the NHL because you got everybody watching Ovi, but you got Connor Bedard's Blackhawks in there. And Spencer Knight, I just checked. He is the starting goalie tonight for Chicago, the former Florida Panther. He was, for the longest time, the next one in waiting around here. But they shipped him out for Seth Jones. Spencer Knight will be the guy, in a lot of ways, that'll decide if Ovi sets the record tonight. You got me sold. I'm going to be watching the game. Okay, we move on. It is a football Friday, and we're getting to that. Patience, everybody. Point 2, the Toronto Blue Jays kick off a 10-game road trip by visiting the New York Mets this afternoon. Toronto riding a 4-game win streak after starting the season at 1-2. Kevin Gausman starts on the mound for the 5-2 Blue Jays. Meanwhile, Tyler McGill gets to start for the 3-3 Mets. We do have a CFL note. The Ottawa Redblacks signed head coach Bobby Dice to a contract extension through the 2026 CFL season on Thursday. The Redblacks finished third in the Eastern Division last season to make the playoffs for the first time in 6 years under Dice. Ottawa posted a franchise best 7-1-1 home record last season. And we've got talk on the commissioner coming up in this segment too. The new commissioner, Stuart Johnston, but Bobby Dice. I love him. He's a big supporter of what we do, and Ottawa made the right move here. What do you see with that news yesterday in the CFL, Moose?
Yeah, it's good news. And yeah, you're right. Like, we all love Bob Dice. He's done a really good job in Ottawa, getting that thing, starting to turn back. And I think Ottawa is on the rise under Bob Dice. I think they're going to start climbing. And so, yes, they're in the bottom of everybody's power rankings, or in the bottom half for sure. But I think this is good. I think Ottawa's headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I will sprinkle in some of the comments here. Casey in Winnipeg writes and he says, yeah, finally get to watch a full show on time. We're glad to have you, Casey. Bomber Boy writes and he says, the Jets slayed the Golden Dragon. Yeah, the Golden Knights have been the Jets' kryptonite, and they beat them last night 4-0 with their backup goalie in net. Trust me, the Golden Knights will be pissed about this. He was mad that they lost to the Oilers the other night. Kelly McCrimmon, we were texting back and forth, and I said, get him when it matters, Crim. Win when it counts. I.e. playoff time. Playoffs are going to be fun. Rich in Edmonton says, I love going to South Florida in the summer. Pool, beach, pool, air conditioning, repeat. Well, here's the thing. When I first came down here, and Darren stayed at the first place we were living in, it was hot in that house. The AC didn't work real good. But we moved into a new place last summer, and it pumps AC. This is a totally different place when your air conditioning is working great in the summer. It makes it very comfortable to live. Rich, you're right, in Edmonton. To the commissioner talk, I had a football guy call me, or text me actually the other day. I'm going to have to talk to him this weekend. Said he was at the NFL GM and coaches meetings this week in West Palm. And he said a very big topic of discussion there was the new CFL commissioner, Stuart Johnston. And I didn't need to be this guy and say, well, wait a minute, why were you talking about it? He didn't even announce it till Wednesday. They knew. They knew. They know. They're owners. They know everything. Trust me, they do. I don't agree with everything that they do, but they own the league, okay? So they know what's going on. And as I said to you this morning, it's not a big surprise that they would be looking over the border, NFL owners and GMs, and going, oh, that's the commissioner the CFL's got, huh? TV guy. Now, all those TSN personalities, I've seen it. Have you as well, I'm sure? Dave Naylor, James Duthie, our good friends, all extolling the virtues of Stuart Johnston, the new CFL commissioner. Well, of course, he was their boss. What do you think they're going to say? I've never met the guy. I've never heard anything bad about him. Not one word bad about him. I don't know him. I want to ask you this, though. Is it fair to say TSN is his resume? He's been the president the last 15 years. So whatever TSN's done is Stuart Johnston. Also a business major at Queen's and born in Toronto, raised in Ottawa, blah, blah, blah. Is it fair to say that? I kind of feel like it is. My career, what everybody sees is my resume. Yours is yours. So how do we feel about that?
Yeah. I think so. I think you can look at it a lot of different ways. You can say, look, you haven't had the NHL rights, or you lost them, or you didn't, win the bid, and now they just got renewed, and you're not getting them again. And I've read that, Bell and TSN made a modest offer for the rights, but not that serious. They're going to retain some regional rights, and maybe they do well enough on that. And we still consider TSN, I think, for the large part, the sports leader, or at least, you mentioned as your news source that you go to. I think it's mine too. They, routinely win the trade deadline wars on TV, and the free agent frenzy, and the Sports Center wars, if you want to call it, coming out on top of those. So they're doing a lot of things right. Yeah, they don't have national NHL rights, but I think that's his resume. I think it's okay.
Yeah, when I want to see what's going on in Canada sports-wise, I go to the TSN app. So they are still Canada's sports leader to me, yet Sportsnet has all the rights. I might be behind the times. Sportsnet's building themselves because I see it as Canada's #1 sports network. I may be wrong. And Stuart Johnston was the president. I don't know enough about it. Like, it looks like Bell's one phone company and Rogers is another, and whoever writes the biggest check wins. Rogers has the bigger bank account than Bell. And to me, that's not Stuart Johnston's fault. So I like TSN. They've treated my friends well that work there. Yeah, let's see where it goes. But, so I had the one football guy saying this was a big topic at the NFL meetings, the CFL commissioner. I had another football guy alum call me, the CFL alum call me this morning. And he goes, what do you think of this guy? So I don't know him. This is what they're saying. This is what I heard. And he goes, Stuart Johnston, I think, is a hockey guy first. But he's clearly not a football person. Randy Ambrosi played in the CFL. I didn't see anywhere on the resume of Stuart Johnston that he even played high school football. Mark Cohan did. Larry Smith was a commissioner in the 90s when I first started covering this league, and he played in the league. Stuart Johnston's not a football guy, but does it matter? Gary Bettman, have we seen him try and skate? Can you imagine throwing a pass to Roger Goodell? I mean, you don't need to be a football guy. What?
No, you're right. My mind goes to here in Ontario and Brian Crawford, who was named the commissioner of the Ontario Hockey League in the offseason. He came from golf, right? From golf into hockey. I think on the business side, the skills are transferable. Do I think you necessarily need to have played the sport? No. Would it help? Yes, because you need to know the sport inside and out and what makes it tick. But what you need more than anything is to understand the business side of it, and hopefully you can drive that. And as we talked about getting games on the air in front of you, we talked about the global expansion. If it's on TV, you build fans, right? If it's in front of you, you build fans. So that media background, hopefully the digital side of that will play a big role too.
We're going to break here. We got a lot of interesting things on the way. Bomber Boy says, what would be your first order of business if you were the commish, Rod? Well, number one, it's a really long list, and clearly you're not Facebook friends with me because I put it on Facebook this week. If I was named commissioner of the CFL, I would sign an executive order into effect immediately stating that all Grey Cup halftime acts must be Canadian until the end of time. And shame on anybody who doesn't agree, and I don't have time for that argument from anybody else today. And by the way, I would be the commissioner, so what I say goes. There is no debate. And I got drunk with power. Woohoo, this feels good. Now I see why those guys are the way that they are. They can do whatever they want. Bomber Boy says Bettman was a lawyer. They hire commissioners to run the league, not play in it. Yeah. Fair. Scott in Vancouver says Bettman was an NBA guy, but somewhat of an Islanders fan as a kid. I'm not saying it's imperative. Didn't I just say that? He's done a great job, and I've never seen him try and skate. I'm saying that you don't have to play. But what's scary is Mike Lombardi, the general manager at UNC Tar Heels with Belichick now and Chris Jones. Lombardi got blasted by some NFL suits for saying the people running the league now, the guys making the rules, never even played the game, i.e., you need to tell the other team when you're going to execute an onside kick. What the hell is that? As Mike Kelly said, this isn't curling. What do you mean you're going to tell the other team what you're doing? And all the other goofy rules that they... So Lombardi got in trouble for that. But you know what? He's like, I'm in college now. I'm not worried about the NFL. It would be nice if you had a clue, okay, if you're going to be a decision maker. And I don't know enough about Stuart Johnston that way to make an opinion either way. We've got plenty more to go. It's getting good. We'll be right back. It's the warm-up. We're live on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Honky Tonk legend Mark Chestnut. Celebrating 35 years of music. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hour one is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, Working Man, starring Jason Statham. Let's bring the moose in. Let's see his face as I read this thrilling plot. Levin Cade left his profession behind to work construction and be a good dad to his daughter, but when a local girl vanishes, he's asked to return to the skills that made him a mythic figure in the shadowy world of counterterrorism. Working Man in Landmark Cinemas now. Doesn't that sound great? Even a little spooky? Little spooky?
Yeah. It does. It sounds great. Like, Jason Statham, we said it yesterday. Anything he's in, we're going to watch. This sounds good.
Yeah. A couple quick items as we roll in the Quick Six show topics here. The Toronto Raptors are back in action tonight, hosting the Detroit Pistons in NBA play. It's the second night of a back-to-back set for Toronto, who fell 112-103 to the Portland Trail Blazers Thursday night. The Raps have 5 games left in the regular season, then they're done. Another year out of the postseason. Point 5, Canada closes out the round robin today at the Men's Curling World Championship with games against Austria, then the USA in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Brad Jacobs and his Calgary-based rink picked up 2 wins over China and Switzerland Thursday to improve to 9-1 atop the standings. Canada has also already booked its place into the playoffs this weekend. My friends are all working there. Our boss, Joe, is there working. Everybody's having a big time in the Temple Garden Center. That's 5 show topics. We got it all done by 12:23 Eastern, 10:23 a.m. Mountain Moose. My 6th point is the NHL tonight, which will be our picks. We'll do that a little later on. I'll circle back on the poll question today. It is, will Ovi tie Wayne Gretzky for all-time goals tonight against Chicago? Darren's saying, no, he won't tie him. He'll break it. And I'm saying, no, he'll score no more than 1. But we'll see. I'm sitting here pontificating my views on everything every day. I rarely ask for yours. I do ask for them, but I give out mine more. The point being, analytics. I don't despise them. I don't. I find them very interesting. But I sure the hell don't run my life by them. And I find it kind of funny. Ovi could set the record. He could conceivably set the record tonight. We've been tracking this for several months, especially in my column in the South Florida Tribune. The analytics said he was going to do it April 10th at Carolina, that he was going to do it April 8th at home against New Jersey, like whatever. He could do it tonight. Is this not showing everybody that analytics, what are they really worth? Come on.
Yeah. Well, I know. Again, they can give you an idea, but you don't know. It's like a map, right? The analytics are like a map. This is the path. This is based on the information that we have right now. This is what you can expect, and you can kind of hone in on an area. But what it doesn't tell you is, stuff that happens to be on the road or things that could happen along the way. You have to be able to read and react as you go. Use the analytics as a guideline, but then you need to be able to read and react and understand. And when the map comes and says there's traffic here, you might want to take the alternate. You got to make that decision and decide which one you think is going to be best for you. And this was one of the games people were buying tickets for, though. It was April 4th against Chicago. I remember that. People were buying tickets as an investment to sell. I haven't been on the secondary market yet, but you know what? When I'm out having a dart in 30 minutes, I will look up the secondary market. So I'll go on StubHub and I'll see what tickets for tonight are going for Capitals and Blackhawks.
I kind of get it. I would not base my life, i.e., in a month's time, this team's playing here and this might happen, so I'm going to go drop $700 for a lower bowl ticket. I'm not going to do that. But I feel like a lot of people are and are disappointed by it, but not by problem. Listen, because we're on Canadian television, and it's a football Friday, and Jim Barker will be joining us next hour from the CFL on TSN. I'd like to talk football on Fridays. So if anybody has any other topics that they want to write in, please do. And I'm going to open up the Progressive Insurance text line now, 902-518-3033. Switch to Progressive, and you could save a bunch. But I got to get my hands on the wheel, i.e. the people that publish the South Florida Tribune. They're all geeked up and horny on their way to Tampa Bay for the Women's March Madness Final Four, which is being played this weekend in Tampa. I couldn't give 2 rips about that. And the men's is being played in San Antonio. We got a lot of other things going on. There's a lot more things that I'm interested in. I'll read your text, and it might steer our discussion, but today I want to keep it to football. And we're going to come back on that CFL discussion in a second, because there's a lot of great comments come in here, and there's nowhere else talking CFL anywhere at all this time of day. But NFL-wise, pretty quiet 24 hours. Other than the fake news of Ben Roethlisberger Aaron Rodgers is secretly waiting for an invite to the dance in Minnesota. Like I haven't seen anything worthwhile in the NFL other than the usual mock draft talk, and I'm kind of sick of that too.
Yeah, a lot of draft talk. Shedeur Sanders is throwing today, so that's a big one. They're all zeroing in on Shedeur and what is his potential, talking about where is his ceiling at? How high could he possibly get picked? And right now we're talking about, Shedeur and Travis Hunter with maybe the Giants at number 3. And where does he end up? And are you drafting Shedeur thinking that you could get Deion Sanders after his contract is up at Colorado or before, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years down the road? Could you get Deion? And would that be good for your program? And I'm looking at, somebody suggested that Tennessee should be taking Shedeur number 1, not because he's the best player available or that he's even going to be the franchise quarterback, but because they want to get Deion Sanders as their next coach in 3 or 4 years, which I think would be great for the organization because Deion brings a brand. And I think if you're a team, a market, a brand that doesn't have a lot of value or chutzpah, as you like to say, Deion would really, shake things up for you. Tennessee's one of those markets that doesn't get a lot of media love, doesn't get a lot of pub. You need a showman in there to kind of put them on the map.
I was just going to say, maybe the Titans will draft Shedeur Sanders. You know what? They're so dysfunctional, they might. No offense. I know it's your favorite team, but God knows why they do the things that they do in Tennessee. I want comments from everybody. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. What the hell? Let's call it a free-for-all Friday, as well as a football Friday. But Colin in Ottawa writes in, we talked about your Red Blacks earlier, Colin, and they've extended to Bob Dice, their head coach. The Red Blacks are finally making a lot of right decisions, and I'm here for it. Colin says, nice shirt, Roddy. Apologies for ruining your Panthers watch party tomorrow. The Sens will beat your team. Well, the way they're playing, they probably will. And we're also missing Barkov and Kachuk and Ekblad and. But I'm already making excuses. I'm that guy, Darren. But I want to clarify something. Yeah, I'm sitting here going, should I say this or how much should I say? You know that I met with one of my advisors, and she's been advising me for quite some time. And yesterday, and like this watch party tomorrow, he's calling it the Panthers watch party. I have nothing to do with it. There's a group of Panthers fans that are putting it on at the Boca Raton Yard House, and we've been invited. But it's not my watch party. But I'm sitting here going, I'm not sure I really care. Maybe I'll attach it with the Rod Pedersen Show and the Cats and Bolts podcast, Florida Panthers watch party, and let's just see if the Panthers reach out to us. Because in Canada, if you tried to say Calgary Flames watch party hosted by the Rod Pedersen Show, there'd be a gun pointed to your head within, 30 seconds? Take that down, right? You know that we've had it happen. So, yeah, I guess let's say that it's my Florida Panthers watch party, and let's see if they're paying attention. What are you laughing at?
I'm getting a little too comfortable over here. It's been too long since I've had a cease and desist letter in the mail, Rod. We're due for another one.
Because I've scared the hell out of me. It scared the hell out of me. And when people say, you need to get back to being the way
like hockey cards.
Well,
put them on the wall.
It doesn't feel good getting a cease and desist letter in the mail. But she's literally like, yeah, go back to the way you used to be. Beg for forgiveness instead of asking for permission. Okay, so here, let's do it. What the hell? What do we got to lose? Let's do it the way we used to do it. Rod Pedersen Show, Cats and Bolts, Florida Panthers watch party on Saturday. See if they show up. Tony in Cochrane writes in, he goes, maybe your Titans will become too legit to quit, Moose. Is there an inside joke on that, or is that just MC Hammer? Just MC Hammer?
I think that's just MC Hammer. You know what? I'll take it.
Thought I might have missed something. So back to, I said, the CFL fans show up here to talk every day, but I will do it on Fridays in the off season. So we were talking about Stuart Johnston, the new commissioner of the CFL, and I'd like to get him on the show sooner than later. Producer Clark is gone on a vacation to Arizona, so when he gets back, maybe we'll get this lined up with Stuart Johnston, the new CFL commissioner. Here's the thing about Randy Ambrosie. Everybody dumps on that guy. I kind of feel bad for Randy because every single time we asked him to come on, he came on. Every single time I had a question and emailed him, he wrote me back. Every time. I had no issues with the guy. You know, and the fact that this, but he's gone. I feel like we could go, we'll continue this next segment. But somebody was saying, what would you do, Rod, if you were commissioner? What's the first thing? I'm like, it's a long list. But I said I would make a edict that the Grey Cup halftime act has to be Canadian. Casey in Winnipeg's watching. He says, TSN has no control over who the Grey Cup host picks for entertainment. Never said they did. Listen to what I'm saying. I don't know. I'd want to sit here and think about it. Jason in Red Deer says, so the guy that headed the network that pretty much ignored the CFL, other than televising games, is now head of the CFL? Not sure what to make of this yet. Oh, bro. I get what he's saying. There was no CFL coverage largely, declined over the years to almost nothing other than the games. And he's going to run the league? And that's why I said earlier, Jason, if you were watching, is it fair to say what went on TSN is what Stuart Johnston is all about? I don't know, because I don't know the inner workings of TSN. You said that it's fair. I kind of feel like it's fair. And the league hasn't treated the CFL real good. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, it's fair. TSN, it's funny, when you're at the top and you're not producing Sports Center or producing coverage, like when you're at the top and running the business of TSN, you're not, it sounds counterproductive, but I don't know that how much his fingerprints are actually on what is airing on the network every day and what is airing on Sports Center. The mandate to the producers who bring in to produce those shows, this is what I imagine, because I've never been in the building, and I know we were up against a break, but I would imagine the edict is Sports Center. Talk about what's going to get us ratings, and we'll revisit the ratings, and if the ratings are going up, you're doing a good job. If they're going down, we'll make adjustments, right? And if the CFL's not drawing Sports Center ratings at the top of the hour, then it's not drawing Sports Center ratings, and that's why it's not leading the shows. They're leading shows with what they think is going to bring in eyeballs, period. You know, it's not necessarily, well, we've invested, so we have to support this because we like them and all the rest. You got to do what's going to drive eyeballs, period. The games do, though. And they air them.
Yeah, well, but is it a partnership per se? Like, for instance, do you remember they had a show a few years ago, not that long ago? They filmed it in a bar, and Rod Smith was sitting at a table, the lead play-by-play guy for TSN, and in one show, he had Chris Jones with him and Jim Pop and somebody else. Let's say Ed Hervey. And they just talked ball and told stories for like 30 minutes. And I would sit there on the couch and just, give me another one. And then the next one was Jeremy O'Day and Mike O'Shea and Danny Mitchell or whoever was running Montreal at the time. And I'm like, give me more. And then they ended it like after a couple weeks. What are you doing? I can't be the only guy in Canada that is spellbound by these shows. And you are, right? You're showing us the personalities. That's what this league was built on. And then they just stopped doing it. And then they haven't replaced it with anything. Listen, hold that thought. Write it down, Moose, because you'll lose it. I know. You're like me. We'll be right back. It's a Football Friday. We are live on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
Experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Honky honky-tonk legend Mark Chestnut. I'm gonna get alive. Celebrating 35 years of music. I just wanna hold you close. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. I'm all boom, 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 so June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hour one is for Culligan. Drink clean, live green, filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit CulliganRegina.com. Obviously, huge CFL fans in Regina. Make your water choice Culligan, and tell them the RP show sent you. Please bring in the Moose. I want to send a special shout out to Chad, watching in Los Angeles right now. He's got his feet up. His son's beaming in through the sun deck. That's Darren's town. He's the LA guy. So you can enjoy it, Chad. Darren wishes he was you today. Okay, thoughts on what we've been talking about. Do you remember? Did you write it down?
Yeah, I did not write it down, but no, I remember. I was reciting it over and over in my head during the break. First of all,
okay,
we're looking at going to California, so that could be happening very soon. Finalizing some plans, which could be fun.
Who's we?
So I'll be down there before long.
You got a mouse in your pocket? Oh, not you and me?
Well, you could meet us there if you want. I'd be open to that. That'd be great.
My travel plans include this job. Anyways, continue.
Yeah. No, and the commissioner stuff is interesting. Like, you talk about the new commissioner and where he might be able to influence this league and what might be areas. And for me, I was just saying, the number one area that I would impact the league, I would scrap the stats. And I know I'm going to give people trauma, but we're going to go back to the stats again and have a year without stats. I think the number one thing that's going to get this league more consumed would be making your stats compatible with the apps, not just your own app, but the Score app, number one, TSN, which I think it does work through TSN, Sportsnet, every single app, it needs to be compatible. You need to work with the other media to make sure that the stats come up, everything comes up on the app. Every other league does it. Well, most other leagues do it. The CFL is the one that doesn't. All you can do is barely get a score when you go to the score app, let alone who scored the touchdowns or who has the stat.
Dude, you're the king of this. Little things are the big things. You've been criticized, and you know by who, for, what was it, picking out the drapes? Because you feel those minute things. Because you wouldn't think the stats would be that big of a deal. They're a really big deal. They're a really big deal. So, hey, if you were commissioner, Darren, is that the first thing you would do? Fix that issue?
Number one. And then just to close on that, you say yes. Like, it is a big deal because there's a lot of fans out there that are like, are you consuming the league? No. Are you following the league? Are you watching the games? No. And there's a whole bunch of other people who are like, I'm huge fans, like, for example, of the NHL or the NFL. Huge NHL fan, huge fan. Consume it all the time. How many games do you watch? None. What do you mean you're a fan? I check the scores all the time. I'm following. I'm watching the highlights. I'm doing all the things on those apps and on social media. That's how fans, a large chunk of fans, consume the product, not always going to the games.
Yeah. I open my score app probably 30 times a night. Well, 30 just watching NHL stats, probably 10 more watching MLB stats. So I see what you're saying. So thank you. Because you can't. Tony in Cochrane writes in regarding Coach Prime. He says, really, guys? That's what Dion brought to the Falcons in 91. The brand awareness. Yeah, he also brought 2 Super Bowls to the Dallas Cowboys. That's my team. So I'm with Darren. His brand will scare off some people, narcissists like Jerry Jones. He'll never coach in Dallas for that reason because Jerry doesn't want to be outshone. But he will coach somewhere in the NFL and probably win. And I don't mind also saying this. Darren, yell at me and stop if you want me to stop going down this road. Carlos in Indianapolis writes in. He says, there's an RP show collection of cease and desist letters. C&Ds, as he says. Listen, if Mike Florio can talk about getting a cease and desist. Actually, Dan Patrick got a cease and desist letter from Tom Brady. Do you mind if I out it? Our Grey Cup party at the 20...
First, I did not know Tom Brady sent Dan Patrick a cease and desist. I want to hear more about that.
It's well known. Look it up. Look it up later.
I will.
And it wasn't real fun. These are not, I don't know, I take them seriously. Call me crazy. But we had, by far, the greatest Grey Cup party at Ballers at the 2022 Grey Cup, I think it was. And to the degree that it was Mike's Hard Lemonade, Rod Pedersen Show, Grey Cup party. And we got this letter from Darren got the letter from the CFL saying nowhere can the terms Grey Cup and Rod Pedersen be put together, which made me feel like a huge piece of shit, number one. And why not? We've been working together for decades. I love you. What's wrong with you? And not to mention the other one, the Grey Cup the year before that, we were not allowed on the damn property at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton. That was another letter. But I remember at that Grey Cup party, oh my God. What a frickin' slobber knocker of a party that was. And I'm sober. There was an assistant coach of one team there that said, if so-and-so shows up, which is the head coach of another team, I'm going to kick the out of him. I said, no, you won't. You lay one hand on him, you're out that door. This is my party, which is kind of ironic given the stunts I've pulled at Grey Cup parties over the years. But anyways, some days you're the Louisville, some days you're the Ball. Dunnigan's there. Probably 4 times I said to Matt Dunnigan, you don't got to stay, Matty. I know it's my party and you can, but you don't have to leave. I left at midnight. He's still going. Wasn't doing anything, standing by the stage, having a drink, talking with fans. Damon Allen. You introduced me to Geno Lewis. Isn't he from around here? Boca or something? You guys had that. It was the greatest party. But we got a cease and desist from the CFL. Party. Yeah, they still talk about it. And that was the letter we got from the CFL. So to be honest, after all these letters and things, it doesn't really make me want to work with them real bad. Sorry. And I'm tired of holding it in. Before you go have your dart, thoughts on that before we break?
Yeah. What was I? First of all, remember what I was going to look up when I'm having my smoke. I forget what I'm going to.
Tom Brady, Dan Patrick.
Oh yeah. You got me on the cease and desist now. Look, I don't take it personally. I understand why we got them. I get it. I don't blame anybody. I get it. We're not a sponsor. We're not paying money, so we don't get to use the term Grey Cup. So we pivoted, and our friends at Twisted Tea, who were sponsors of the halftime show, they can have a party because they're paying money. They're official sponsors and partners. I get it. So we just pivoted a little bit. And the other one too. So it's just, you know what? At the time though, my stomach is pit in my stomach, and I'm worried. I'm, oh my God, they hate me, and this is, what are we gonna do? This is the end of the world. I've gotten a cease and desist letter. They're gonna shut down the whole business. And then I took a minute. I'm like, no, just pivot the name, answer the cease and desist, whatever, hang it on the wall, and life goes on. And it didn't really affect us at all.
Nelson writes in, our VP of Sim Events. He says that Grey Cup party was mental. It was. And I, again, was sober. It's nice to be able to remember these things. It's so nice. Nelson also says, I have one of those RP show C&Ds framed on my wall from the CFL Sim. It's a marketing badge of honor. That's the third cease and desist letter we got from the CFL, which reminds me, by the way, because did they call me or was it in the letter? They're like, you've broken every single one of our trademarks. However, they were kind of nice about it, right? They're like, we're willing to look the other way because we think what you're doing is great for the league. So if you don't go any step further, we're good. And then you put a billboard up outside. I know we got to take a break. You put a billboard up outside the airport. So that was a fourth letter that we got. It's you.
We need a 30 for 30.
We got to go. We got to go.
Okay.
We got to go. We're taking a break. Mini overtime next. We're live on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasting, wherever the best podcast.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
You're going to be amazed how much I can fit into 2 minutes and 45 seconds, producer Rocco. Regarding all of what we just talked about, BW in Edmonton writes in, he says, has the CFL ever had a deputy commissioner? You've asked a couple of times, and the answer is no. They've had unnamed deputy commissioners. Mark Cohan's right-hand guy was Kevin McDonald. Everybody knew that Kevin handled the heavy lifting and the football things, and Mark just shook hands and kissed babies, and it worked. And Randy Ambrosie fired Kevin McDonald. Clash of football guys. It happens. He's now running Football Canada. About our Grey Cup party, Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says the best part was that Grey Cup party turned into a big CFL Awards after party, and everyone who was anyone turned up because they knew we had the party to be at. It was like high school. Paul and Humboldt. If there was a colorless mug RP show party, I would show up. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds nice. Thank you. Darren in Utah says the last segment just answered a lot of questions about why the CFL has promotion problems. Harassing someone who is promoting their league? Sheesh. So yeah, we got at least 4 cease and desist letters from the Canadian Football League. So having said that, Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says Nelson says rule number 6 of marketing after the 5 W's. Do first, ask for forgiveness later. See, I built a career on that because I've been telling people I'm fried. I'm afraid to get hell. I'm afraid to get blackballed and ostracized. So I haven't been stepping on any toes or pissing anybody off. Have you noticed I haven't been in any fights for a long time? Maybe it's time to start. Heavy Gym Sports Update. A quartet of juggernauts take the floor tonight in Tampa for the women's Final Four, where number 1 UCLA, number 1 South Carolina, number 1 Texas, and number 2 UConn enter the national semifinals with a combined record of 138-11. The Final Four men take to the floor in San Antonio tomorrow. Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. The Cardinals of the NFL made Trey McBride the highest paid tight end in NFL history. The Raiders extended quarterback Geno Smith 2 years, $75 million, and the Cowboys traded for Patriots quarterback Joe Milton III. So it was a somewhat busy day in the NFL. The sports updates brought to you by Heavy Gym, where they're not just about lifting weights. They're about lifting your spirit, your strength, your potential. Go over and see Tony and tell him the RP show sent you. He'll change your life. Step into the gym that's changing lives. Find out more at heavygym.ca. I told you, Rocco, I would get it in 2:45. We'll carry this all over into hour 2 after this.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Honky Tonk legend Mark Chestnut. I'm gonna get alive. Celebrating 35 years of music. I just wanna hold you close. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. I'm all boom, boom, boom. June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Is that your boat?
Nah, working on it. That's not mine. It's a friend's.
You have a bigger boat than that, huh? Let me come down and ride around on the boat with you. We could broadcast from the boat. You could do your show, I could do my show, and really there would be no reason for me to leave.
How about that?
Was that your boat in the clip? Are you doing your show from that?
You're the second guy to ask that today. I think that's not, but we're working on it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
I tell you what, that was within the first week of moving to Florida, I learned the two best days of a guy's life are the day you buy a boat and then the day you sell the boat. Welcome to Hour 2. Hey, Matthew DeBuck checking in. He says, we need Team 10, Rod, in the CFL. He says, if I win the Powerball, you can count on me. Oh, to own the team? Oh, dude, come on. Let's bring in Moose Dupont. Coach, you missed a hell of a lot of fun winding up Hour 1. Darren and I were recounting the 4 cease and desist letters that we received from the Canadian Football League over the years, and I don't even really know how it came up. Viewer Brandon Lewis writes in, and Brandon, tell us where you are, please. He says, how and why did the CFL send cease and desist letters to the RP show? To ban him from talking about the CFL? I don't understand. We'll walk that back in a second, but we've been talking. If you don't mind, Darren, I'm just catching everybody up for those that have just tuned in. Rocco, can you hit the quick 6 show horn and we'll update everybody on what we have been talking about in the program. NHL from last night, Darren went a perfect 9 for 9 on his picks. He's now moved to within 2 of me for the aggregate on the year, 165 to 163. And this segment will make tonight's picks. Point 2, Major League Baseball. Blue Jays first place in the AL East. Enjoy while it lasts. They are at the Mets this afternoon. Point 3, CFL. Bobby Dice signed an extension in Ottawa. They're finally doing the right things there. And the CFL commissioner, Stuart Johnston, was a big topic at NFL owner and GM meetings, well, more so GM meetings this week. I had a friend that was there, and he told me that. And we'll come back on that. NBA tonight, the Raptors are home to the Pistons, but they got 5 games left in their season, then they're done. It's the final day of the round robin of the World Men's Curling in Moose Jaw. and Canada's going to the playoffs at 9-1. Not a shock. And here we are. But as far as the CFL commissioner goes, I guess I'm not TSN. And as I outlined, we're not even partners with the CFL because the CFL has made that very clear. So I'll say this. They're just saying, hey, he's going from TSN to be the commissioner of the CFL, but was he great for TSN? I think so, but there are people saying no. Over to you. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I think he's obviously, it's a great track record and a good reputation, or he wouldn't be hired as the commissioner of the Canadian Football League. I think, we got to stop trying to link the CFL and TS. I mean, it's hard not to link them because they are the exclusive. They're the broadcaster for the league. You have to. I get that. But it's the word partnership is interesting because, yes, you are partners, but no, you're not partners. Like the CFL and TSN, like they're related and linked financially. If the CFL does better, sure, TSN's going to do better. But TSN's not responsible for building up the CFL necessarily. They buy the rights to air the games. When you buy the rights to air the games, you do what you want with them. You don't have an obligation to put it on SportsCenter and do the other things. Now, what you talk about in a partnership and how we help each other grow, that's a different conversation. But I mean, I think we put a lot of blame on TSN for not airing the CFL's product enough because as fans, we just want more of it. And I get it. And same thing with the CFL show. You were talking about it. Rod Smith sitting around with the coaches, the GMs, the personalities of the game. If more people watched, it would still be on the air. Now, TSN could invest in that, or the league could buy more airtime and invest in themselves and put the product in front of people until it catches on. There's all different ways to do it, but I think we're just really quick to pass along blame.
I guess, but well said, by the way, on a variety of topics. The viewers, so I'm trying to catch everybody up here. Some of the viewers said, TSN is the monopolized television rights holder for the CFL, and they ignore the league all week, but they just show the games. And that guy that ran it is going to now run the CFL? They're like, they feel a disconnect there. And there was a little bit of that, I guess, floating around the NFL meetings this week. That's what I heard from somebody that was there, that okay, it was their quote. I'm not saying it. It'll probably get attached to me. But that TSN's become stale. This guy's moving over there. And I said in my commentary today and in hour one, I said, should what TSN is be an accurate resume or a reflection of the resume of Stuart Johnston and the new CFL commissioner? We both agree, yeah, it probably should. I'll have my career be a reflection of me. My resume, I've won awards in football, hockey, and now baseball broadcasting, written 2 best-selling books, Canada Sports Blog of the Year, 40 million all-time hits. Do I need to go? I'm good. Yeah, use it. Is that Stuart Johnston's? And do you like TSN and what it is? There's no doubt that it has gone through the DEI stage or phase, and I think they're still there. That must be him. We all say it starts at the top. But I still think it's Canada's sports leader. What I questioned last hour was, why did they take that show off the air? There was little 30-minute shows with Rod Smith interviewing the coaches sitting in a bar. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. Mark is watching in Burlington, Ontario, and he says, I love those Rod Smith segments you spoke of, Rod. And then they suddenly stopped. It's so Canadian like that, to stop short. Now, it's not just Canada, man. They do it. Every day I turn on ESPN, there's a new NFL analyst on there. I'm like, well, who's this guy now? It's the industry. I don't think it's Stuart Johnston. Just so you know. But what do I know? I only host a show on national television. Darren said, fix the stats. And that's why I have little faith in how this is all going to turn out, because Jeffrey P. Orridge, my buddy, not Jeffrey Porridge, Jeffrey P. Orridge, 2 commissioners ago, said we need to live in the phones of our fans, of the young. We need to live in their phones. Well, you didn't. And the stats don't work. So Darren was saying, fix that. And Brian in Hudson's Bay writes in and he says, that is me in the NHL. I haven't watched a game all year, but constantly checking the scores and standings every night. Can't be bothered to watch regular season hockey. So that's everybody's on their phone, especially the kids, but I am too. And the CFL scores and stats aren't even on these apps. So that needs to be fixed. That's Darren's number one. Is with regards to us getting the cease and desist letters from the CFL, I'm not a business guy. I'm not a legal guy. When we started getting this avalanche of CFL cease and desist letters, it really concerned me. And it concerned Darren for a while, less time than it concerned me. The one letter, I mean, they were very nice about it. They're like, we know what you're trying to do, but we can't have you do this. So keep doing what you're doing as long as it doesn't get worse. And then Darren made it worse, and we get another letter, and sorry to throw you under the bus, but it's true. And here we are. Anything to add to that?
Cease and desist letters, though, come from pushing the boundaries and trying to do more. And I'm just never settle. I just can't settle for things. And that's just the way it is. But the crux of the cease and desist and the CFL party too is we just couldn't make money off of using their likeness, the league's logos, the Grey Cup, that type of thing. If we were doing a charity thing, it was all for free, whatever. But people were paying good money to be in that party. It was a great party, a great party. Just couldn't make.
That's another one. We had a Grey Cup party. We got a cease and desist letter that my name couldn't be associated with the Grey Cup, even though we had Mike's Hard Lemonade, or was it Twisted? I don't know, Twisted Tea. Sorry,
Twisted Tea.
I don't drink.
Oh, they're not a partner
Twisted
anymore.
Tea was also a partner of it, and they were a league sponsor, whatever. So another letter we get. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, anyone who's a CFL fan enjoyed those Rod Smith shows. Another bad move by TSN, getting rid of it. Craig Campbell's watching from the Hockey Hall of Fame, and he says, the CFL week in spring and those segments with Rod Smith are sorely missed. Our son says CFL betting options are nominal at best, but can look forward to a bright future with the new commissioner. I certainly hope so. What the hell else do we have? I'm such a squirrel like you. 902-518-3033 is the Progressive Insurance text line. Switch to Progressive and you can save a bunch. We're talking a lot of football today because, I know what I was going to say, because it's a Football Friday. And I don't feel like there's a ton going on in the NFL, not that we would talk about here. But here's the thing with the cease and desist. Again, this isn't my business. But when I owned that pizza restaurant in Regina, which was a high-end Neapolitan pizza, it wasn't like a slinging by the slice. As Bob Merrier says, there's Rod slinging pizza by the slice in his place in Regina. No, Bob, it's not like that. It's a classy joint. And when I owned the business, it's a little different. I wasn't afraid. We had the very first Monday Night Football of the year. I knew what I was doing. I had a very close association with Molson at the time, so we had Coors Light Monday Night Football. And the day of the game, I plastered posters all over town, all over social media. Monday Night Football, Coors Light. Boom! Sold the place out. Made a bunch of money. Next day, letter comes in from Bud Light. If you ever do that again, we'll sue your ass off. And I'm like, I'm never going to do it again. Because I knew that I could only do it once. So it was that little, you got one shot, make it good. I got them right between the eyes. And I never had to worry about it again. And then we filled the place every Monday night after that. Remember, Darren, you came down for them. So, yeah. Like I said, you weren't that concerned. Are you now? Do you want more letters? Because I can get you more cease and desist letters very easily.
Easy.
You let me know.
Easy now. Okay. I'm good for a bit.
Okay. Well, how this actually all came up was an hour ago, we were talking about the Florida Panthers watch party. Well, it's not a Florida Panthers watch party. It's a bunch of fans. But it's on a poster that I'm posting everywhere because I'm going, and I'm going to be with Brent from Wellington, Florida there at the Yard House in Boca Raton. But the Panthers are throwing their own watch party at the Funky Buddha Brewery, which brews the beer that they sell at the games, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, I don't need to get in any hell with the Panthers. I don't want to. But I'm going, well, maybe I should. Who cares? Let's give it a shot. Where's my bell? It's 1:11 Eastern, Moose. 1:11. Oh, it was 11:11 Mountain. This is hilarious. Jeff the Stamps. Everybody's in a zany mood today, and I'm here for it. Jeff the Stamps fan writes in, and he goes, how about not the Grey Cup, Grey, but how about the Grey Cup, Gray.
I like where your head's
Did you
at.
think about that?
Not that easy, though. Not that easy.
Is it not?
No, you can't. Unfortunately, you can't just spell the name wrong and then all of a sudden it's a different entity. They'll catch you on that too. But, and the good ones will have that trademarked also. But I like where your head's
Well,
at.
if you remember, rodpeterson.com, twice named Canada's Sports Blog of the Year, 40 million all-time hits. I did my font like ESPN and TSN. Remember that? I had it done up by Sean McNall at TG Marketing to look like the red ESPN. I get a letter from ESPN. You saw it. I still have it. They're like, take it down or we'll sue your ass off. I wrote them back. You can't trademark a font. They wrote me back. Yes, we can. Take it down. This is your last warning. Okay. So I've been getting those too. 902-518-3033. I guess I want to be positive about the new commissioner. And by the way, it was last week that Jim Barker, who's lined up and ready to go here in the next segment, said the next commissioner will be a guy with a strong media background. He obviously knew it was going to be Stuart Johnston. I put in my 10 things column on the weekend in our newsletter that I still was hearing it was going to be Paul Graham. And when that newsletter came out, I got a call from a CFL guy that said, you're close. It's not Paul Graham, but it's going to be Stu Johnston. And I'm like, I'm not even going to report this anymore. I was told on Sunday. I'm like, I don't need the headache. I do not need the headache. Regarding our watch party, Nelson says, phrase it this way: come watch a cat mascot hockey team based in Florida take on another pro hockey club with a host dressed in similar team colors. Now, let's just call it a Florida Panthers watch party and see if the team's paying attention. See if they're even noticing what we're doing. I guess it's not personal. It's just business. That's the other thing. When I get screwed over, it's just business, Rod. It's just business. When I do the screwing, oh my God, we're going to end your career, you son of a bitch. Off with your head. Funny how that works. You want to do the NHL picks, Moose?
Yeah, let's do it.
Darren was a perfect 9 for 9. Have you been last night? Have you been doing your studying?
I'm ready.
Okay, it's only 3 games, and we got less than a minute here. Chicago at Washington tonight. Who do you got?
Capitals.
Yeah, and by the way, that's our poll question. Will Ovi tie the record tonight? I say no. Darren says no. Darren says he's going to break it with a Hattie tonight. Carolina at Detroit. Who do you like?
Carolina.
Yeah, me too. And Minnesota at the Islanders tonight. Who do you like?
Ooh, Islanders.
Okay, I'm going to take Minnesota because I think the Islanders are coming apart. Clearly after what happened with the coach the other day, Patrick Roy, who I love. Okay. Last one on this. Wayne in BC says, I wouldn't want to be sued and have to go to court and pay a lawyer. Well, there's that. And Brent from Wellington, Florida says, only thing that will be increasing and assisting my appetite will be some Yard House appetizers. Somebody's covering the cost of the appies, by the way. I don't even know who. It's not me. But if it's free, it's me. That's a CFL thing. Have a great weekend, Moose. Thanks for your efforts.
All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Jim Barker's in next from the CFL on TSN. We're live on Game Plus TV, Canada-wide, and 32 U.S. states, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Shania Twain.
Let's go, girls.
Live in Moose Jaw. Shania Twain. One incredible show. Live at Temple Garden Center, July 7th. With special guest, Lindsay L. Get tickets Friday, March 21st at 10 a.m. at the Temple Garden Center's box office or sasktix.ca. For more, visit ShaniaTwain.com.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Well, here we go. Hour 2 for Culligan Water. Drink clean, live green, filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit CulliganRegina.com. The CFL on TSN's Jim Barker joins us. You know where we're going with the discussions today, Coach. But hey, because Culligan Regina Water sponsors the show, you were just in the Queen City for the Combine. I never asked you how it was and how they treated you there in my hometown.
Oh, Regina's always fantastic. It's one of those cities where no matter where you go, people know who you're about, why you're there, and because they're just such huge CFL fans, just everybody there. I love going to Regina. It was very well run. The CFL did an absolute great job running it. Hey, I got to ask you, this cease and desist, I didn't know anything about it. Does this mean I'm getting canned from CFL on TSN because I'm on your show for the last year and a half?
You're good with TSN. I can speak for the CFL. And which cease and desist letter are you referring? Which of the 4? I think it was 4. I'm not sure. So I hope we're good. I love the CFL. I love TSN. Which, speaking of, I feel like a week ago at this time you knew who the commissioner would be.
Well, again, I had a good inkling of that it was going to be somebody in media, and that list is very small. What's interesting is figuring out, okay, is Stu Johnson leaving TSN because of a Bell Media switch, which we all know they've sold MLSE to Rogers. From what I understand, they're making a pivot in some of that they want to be a little more infrastructure based than production. The move for that reason, or is the CFL saying next year our contract comes out? Now this is just strictly Jim Barker, so this is not anything. I've talked to anybody. I haven't talked to one person about this. I'm giving it to you and our listeners first because you guys deserve it, and it could be far off. But could the CFL be hiring a guy like Stu Johnston, who is actually a phenomenal leader and manager, and he managed all those production people and things, because they plan to do what they did back in the late 80s when they started the Canadian Football Network, and they were creating their own because CTV pulled out and stopped completely. They started their own. Now, the person that did that was then Commissioner Doug Mitchell. His son is now very instrumental with the ownership in the CFL. So my question is, did they go out and say, we're going to start our own production company? Because the media is changing a lot. I don't think it's the same. I think there's a lot of streaming all over the world. And I know back in those late 80s, I was just reading some stuff on it because I knew they had done that. And it says that they connected with a lot more countries. It was more of a global type of thing that they did. But they then control it, and they don't have to worry about, because TSN's not going to have there's not going to be a lot of competition. So do they come in and say they gave them $50 million and say, well, we only have to give $25 million? Well, what that does is damages the product, and they know that. So do they say, okay, we give them $75 million, and then the owners worry about what's going to happen? And again, remember, in the ownership group now is Mr. Pelledo, who is very, very involved in media, with MLSC off the plate for he kept his. Mr. Tannenbaum kept his. I don't know. I just putting everything together, and I'm trying to figure out whether the CFL might be trying to start their own production company, which is clear out there now, or whether TSN is changing their things and Stu felt like, you know what, I need something different and new. It's interesting. He's an outstanding choice. There's nobody that knows the TV landscape. You talk about a guy that's well connected. This guy just put together $1 billion deal with the NFL, like a 10-year deal, getting the NFL, the regional things on TSN. So he's very well connected. There's a lot of things that he can do that other people can't, just because of connections and people he's dealt with. So it's definitely an exciting time for the CFL. But the question is, what direction are they going? And I think with the TV contract coming up at the end of next year, they have that much time to, they have to figure it out again prior to that.
Well, I mean, sure. But across the street, basically, Sportsnet and the NHL just did a new deal, which didn't expire for a year. They just did the deal, and they doubled the money, right? So if they're waiting for a year, I think that's a mistake, number one. But I'll say this about Stuart Johnston. I've never met him, but as you've seen, I got a lot of really close friends at TSN that have worked for him for a long time, and not one of them will say anything. They love him. You know that. You work there too, right? They all love him, which is a good sign, because if everybody hated him, that wouldn't be good. But I just want to look backwards for a second. The legacy of Randy Ambrosie. I like Randy. He returned every call. He came on this show whenever we asked. I kind of feel bad for the guy. Can we just, last time ever, how do we feel about his legacy as commissioner of the CFL?
Well, I thought Randy did a great job for what he was hired to do. And, he tried to expand the game. He took the global initiative. Again, I don't believe he did it the right way, but he at least tried to expand globally. Instead of expanding our game, he went and tried to bring players in and things like that. And, there's some things you're going to do and try to improve things. And then there's things that you do that that actually really do work. He understood the league. I think that's really important. He understood that. Maybe he was a business guy. I think that the ownership, when they hired him as the commissioner, was hoping that he was going to be able to generate all these revenues and revenue streams and grow the franchises. And that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened. They haven't. You look around professional sports, the Boston Celtics just sold for $6.1 billion. I mean, teams are all in the multi-billions, professional sports teams. The CFL hasn't gone up at all. These franchises haven't gone up. They need to figure out how to get their franchise values up through expansion. Again, those kind of things help. When Mr. Thompson took over the Elks, it was basically take over the debt and pay the bills and that kind of thing, but it didn't tag a value to the franchise. That is what the most crucial thing, I believe, for Stuart Johnston coming in is, can he grow the league? Can he get it? Again, there's a lot of revenue streams that are different. Television has changed. It's not all about advertising. It's about streaming and fun and subscriptions and things along those lines. It's changed, and he has been involved in it through all this change. And so I think again, he's a very, very bright choice. I knew him also because whenever I went in a meeting with MLSE as the general manager of the Argos, and Mr. Tannenbaum was there, Stuart Johnson was there. So he was very involved in the running of the club and how we were budgeting and all the little things that go into that. And again, was he's so concise. He doesn't speak a lot. He was always quiet, but when he spoke, it carried something. And he's one of those guys that, again, I don't think there's anybody who will say anything bad about him. He's not that guy who carries a chip on his shoulder. He's an empowerer. He empowers the people that work under him to be great. And so again, I think it's a great choice. What's interesting to me is, what direction does this mean the league takes? And again, speculation is a beautiful thing, and I get to do it on your show. I get to speculate and think, wow, well, maybe this could be something they're doing, which would be an interesting, exciting new turn.
You had me at empowerer because it's one of the key pillars of leadership as far as I'm concerned. So
the key.
Yeah. Because I don't know okay. Well, there's a few others, leading by example, right? All those other things. That's a topic for another time. But you had me at empowering. Let's put it that way. So yeah, it's a win. Tony from Cochrane writes in, he says, how about the CFL network? I watch a lot of the NFL network. He goes, how about a CFL version of A Football Life? I think we would all watch that. Dude, we've been talking about this for years. You're late to the party. So until somebody does it, and which I would, but I'm living in Florida, and as I pointed out an hour ago, haven't had a lot of cooperation from the CFL. So somebody can do it. Stop talking about it, for the love of God, and do it. It's a lot of talk, not a lot of action. But here's the thing, dude, Jim, I shouldn't call you dude. Or maybe I can, because you're a dude kind of guy. The product's great. Jim, that's never changed. He doesn't need to tweak a damn thing.
It's a phenomenal game. Absolutely right. And like I say, my thing with Randy, with the global, and I'm not saying anything I haven't said to him to his face, was I wish we would have grown our game. Our game in Europe is so much closer than American football to what they do, to soccer and rugby. We are older than the NFL, 3-down football. So why not take those fields that are wider and try to grow our game and get people playing 3-down football instead of trying to bring an athlete from Finland and one from Germany and think that that's going to get people to watch the games. What's going to get people to watch games is to get them playing our game. And is that easy to do? No. But can it happen? I believe it absolutely can.
Yeah, well, I think it needs to get on TV over there because Danny McManus is from here, Dania Beach, Florida, and Danny told me he grew up watching the CFL on ESPN. So when he showed up in Winnipeg in 1990, he knew exactly what he was doing before he froze his ass off walking on the field. We as Canadian kids, how did we know what Australian rules football was? It was on TSN when we were kids. How do we know what the National Lacrosse League was? It was on TSN when we were kids. Then it went decades not being on. So get it on TV over there first. Don't worry about the money, and then get them playing. Kids are going to want to play it when they see it. Thank you, Colin in Ottawa, for this point. Off topic or different topic. He says, happy that Bobby Dice got extended by my Red Blacks. I am always happy when a Canadian who stayed totally within the 3-down sphere gets rewarded with contract renewal at the top of 3-down coaching. He's a good one, man. Bobby Dice, I was so happy to see that this week. How about you?
Well, you don't get better people, and he's such a fantastic person, and his emotions are so real. I mean, I'll never forget the game they won that they had no business against. I think it was against Winnipeg, and he went running backwards up the side. And you watch a guy like that, and he's done all the things you have to do. I had a call this week from a young guy, wants to get into football, wants to be a coach, didn't have any idea how to do it. Well, a guy like Bob Dice has done all that. He didn't go anywhere else. He did it all up here. And I use Bob Dice as an example when I talk to this young man about, the way you have to go, how you have to approach in order to be able to become a professional coach in this league. And again, I applaud him. He's a fantastic guy, and I think just an outstanding coach. And you love to see the good guys win. And another year is another year. I mean, when you coach, it's like you're so year to year that getting that other year is a great thing for him. So I was excited, and it's great for our league.
Last one. I could talk with you all day, Jim. This is fun. Thank you for making it fun. Al Broderick writes in, he says, I would love to see the CFL down here in Los Angeles. The E, expansion word. And I don't know what goes on in these CFL. I'm the one saying expand. That's where the money is. You talk about why these owners are making so much money, especially the NHL. Expansion fees are $500 million, $750 million now in the NHL. I want to see the CFL in the USA. But when I say that, I get my head cut off. I don't ever talk about it anymore.
Well,
you think they ever will?
If you live in the past in terms of whatever happened in 94, 95, but expansion needs to happen. Does it need to happen the way it happened there? Probably not. But for the league to grow, you're exactly right. And I talked about franchise fees. A team that's here going somewhere doesn't do anything. A team starting, you start a team and they pay a $10 million franchise fee. You at least have a base of what that team is worth. Right now, there is none. And you're right. That's exactly what has to happen. And again, does it take courage? Does it take some? Yes. But you know what? The league needs to take a step forward, because right now we're in actually a crucial time for the CFL because of the media world changing and the amount of, like I say, Sky Sports in Europe just paid $1 billion for ELF, which is European League of Football. It's soccer and it's football both, and American football both, but $1 billion. Now, again, why can't you tap into that? Because we haven't done anything to build our game over there. But that kind of money is out there. And sometimes you have to take a brave pill, step forward, and make it happen. And that's, again, that's one of the things that I kind of, on my spare time, I work on. I try to figure out how they can do it. So it's an exciting time for me. And I'm excited for Stu, and it's going to be an interesting go.
Yeah, you're a big part of it.
On Monday after your cease and desist.
Yeah, don't laugh. Al, that same Al in LA, says, I was never able to see a CFL game when they left ESPN. See, that's the thing. I was at a barbecue here last fall, and a bunch of guys sitting around the table in South Florida, they said, I don't even hear about the CFL anymore. And I'm like, well, you would if it was still on one of the 18 ESPN networks, but it's on CBS Sports Network over here. It's not on as many channels, but we are a cable carrier.
See, how about this? The UFL is carried by Fox Sports. Okay. And they're drawing, they're drawing, whatever
Millions.
they are. It's not very good.
Millions.
It's not very, well,
no,
but they're doing
3 million.
They're doing it. I don't. Maybe over the whole weekend that was that many. It was like 400 a game or something like that. But they're doing it for their betting entity, their gambling entity that Fox owns. That's the reason they're doing it. Well, imagine us coming in there and playing our season from June through August. The only thing going on in the U.S. is baseball. That's it. But if you had the crux of the CFL football season going on, you don't think that would be of huge value to Fox? The only reason they're holding on to the UFL is to give them something this time of the year that their gambling companies can make some money.
You and I know that. But I've been told by many a CFL president and governor, Rod, you don't know anything. So just sit down there and shut up. Oh, okay. Oh, you guys, you know it all. Have a great weekend, Jim. Thank you. Appreciate the chat.
All right, Rod. Thank you. That was fun.
The CFL on TSN's Jim Barker. We'll be right back with a sports update, viewer takeover. A lively Football Friday continues right after this on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Honky Tonk legend Mark Chestnut. I'm gonna get alive. Celebrating 35 years of music. I just wanna hold you close. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. I'm all boom, boom, boom. June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
The RP Show is brought to you in part by Seat Giant. Stop paying U.S. dollars for sporting events. It's getting kind of old, especially with the Canadian dollar, what it is. Despite what you're hearing about the U.S. dollar, it's not affecting the Canadian dollar. Trust me. I'm on top of it. Seat Giant's Canadian-owned and operated with Canadians in mind. Super Bowl, college football, concerts. They've got it all. Use the promo code RP Show for 15% off now. Check us out at seatgiant.ca. Before I jump into this sports update here for Heavy Jim, we'll see how this conversation goes today. It wasn't that bad today. But, I mean, if we're going to be critical of any league, but I don't know, man. Jim was just saying it's all changed. It's changed, and he's right. Stuart Johnston's had literally a front row seat of how it's changed, being the president of TSN, precisely from 2010 to 2025, and now taking over the Canadian Football League's commissioner chair. I'll give you a little bit of an example. The way I was brought up in the business, when you applied for media passes to go to games, the teams would say, here's your pass. Thanks for covering us. See you in the press box. It's awesome. Now it's apply, we'll review you, and get back to you. What? And I'm really lucky that I've had a career that I'm not getting denied. But a lot of guys are. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to review us? But that's the way that it is. Like when I went to New York to get my training to be an interventionist, licensed interventionist. Yeah, like the TV show. I do that. The very first day I felt very out of place because I'm looking around this conference room in Times Square and it's psychologists and clinicians and doctors and psychiatrists. And I'm like, I don't belong here. I don't know why I'm here. I was literally rocking in my chair. Slight anxiety issue. And the lady that was putting it on, or helped putting it on, she comes up, she starts rubbing my back. And she's like, what's the problem? And I'm like, I don't belong here. I don't know why I'm here. I'm a football announcer from Canada. And she goes, no. We invited you for a reason. All these people around the room have to unlearn everything that they've learned in this business for the last 20, 30 years. You're a fresh canvas. I was new at it, obviously. So that I got to unlearn everything that I've learned because the way that the business is now, it ain't ever going back to the way that it was before. Like the sports business, the sports media business, all of it, it's all new. I'm just sitting here going, is it worth it? Yeah, still got a lot of years of working left. Here's another one, is I put together a sports update. I was trained, keep your NHL news together, then your NBA news together, then your baseball news together. But here it's all over the place. Let's talk about NHL, NBA, NHL again. See, it's all over the place. Well, that's the way it is now. I was watching a story on the news here the other day about FAU hockey, Florida Atlantic University hockey winning the national championship, D2 national championship. Sitting there watching the report on WPTV, West Palm TV, and they didn't say who they beat, what was the score, where was the tournament. Who cares? Does it matter who they played or where, what? Heavy Jim Sports Update. Alex Ovechkin is 3 goals shy of breaking Wayne Gretzky's career record and can make history tonight as the Washington Capitals host Chicago. Ovi on pace for a record 14th season of 40-plus goals, scored his 39th on Wednesday. Elsewhere tonight, Detroit hosts Carolina and the Islanders face Minnesota. Oilers star Leon Draisaitl will be evaluated today after leaving last night's 3-2 win over the San Jose Sharks in the second period. Coach Chris Knobloch did not have an update after the game. The Blue Jays are riding a 4-game win streak as they kick off a 10-game roadie against the Mets this afternoon. They'll be getting going just after 3 Eastern. Kevin Gausman to the mound for the 5-2 Jays. Duke star Cooper Flagg is the Associated Press Men's College Basketball National Player of the Year. He's just the fourth freshman to win the award. He joins Duke's Zion Williamson, Kentucky's Anthony Davis, and Texas star Kevin Durant. I'm going to pause that. Should I keep going? Yeah, I got more to get to, and we're up against it for a break. We'll just take a break in the middle of this heavy gym sports headline update and come back with overtime right after this. We're live on Game Plus Television, as always, every day here, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Shania Twain.
Let's go, girls.
Live in Moose Jaw. Shania Twain. One incredible show. Live at Temple Garden Center, July 7th. With special guest, Lindsay L. Get tickets Friday, March 21st at 10 a.m. at the Temple Garden Center's box office or sasktix.ca. For more, visit ShaniaTwain.com.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Okie dokie. It's the RP show, and it's Overtime. Brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. They're big CFL fans there, but I'm not going to tell you who they cheer for. I'm not going to tell you who they cheer for, but they're in Calgary, so there's a hint. And Randy's from Edmonton, so there's another. And I said this the other day. Was it the second last time I was at Overtime Hockey Lanes? Randy says, every time people come in here and they see the Rod Pedersen show lane, they say, Rod Pedersen, the voice of the Riders. It's only been 6 years, people. Can we please move on? I said there's always something new going on there. They have a second radar lane there. I was there this summer when they had their first. Cracked 100, don't mind saying. Can you? Achieve your hockey goals at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Tony from Cochrane, were you watching Hour 1? He was talking about what a great idea it would be to have a Canadian version of A Football Life or a CFL network. I said, we've been talking about it for years. Tony, and I love Tony. It's good. He writes in, he goes, I'm too old, but it's something DuPont Media should think about. Guy, we just said we got 4 cease and desist letters from the CFL. They don't want to work with us. We had the whole thing in the hopper ready to go. A 3-down life. That's what we were going to call it. But without cooperation in the CFL, we were dead in the water. Why even try? Brent in Wellington, Florida. Psst. Shy in Saskatchewan writes in, he goes, do the hockey lanes cheer for the Oilers? Why don't you go down there and ask them? How about that? BW in Edmonton says, vote for Crossfield in Kraft Hockeyville before April 5th. Time for a winner again in Alberta. Al in Los Angeles writes in, he says, I didn't want the CFL in the U.S., just on TV. No, I get it. He's saying they don't get CBS Sports Network, bro, and you'll get the games. CBS Sports Network is in 60 million U.S. homes. Just far less than ESPN. But that's the thing. When they went from ESPN to the CBS Sports Network a couple of years ago, they just vanished off a lot of people's radar in the States. And literally, they're not paying me, so I don't really care. But I get really tired of answering the questions. Continuing because they all know about the CFL. Tonight, I'm going to be together with a bunch of CFL guys. Follow my social media channels, my personal, Rod Pedersen Official on Instagram, at Rod Pedersen on Twitter. You can follow along. That's who I'll be with tonight. We'll be talking CFL tonight, as we do every time we get together. 3 of 4 teams in the women's Final Four are number 1 seeds. None of the 4 have lost more than 3 games this season. All but 1 have been the top-ranked team in the country at some point. That's how strong the national semifinals are this year, with powerhouses UCLA, Texas, South Carolina, and UConn competing in Tampa for a national championship. They get going tonight. UCLA, South Carolina, and Texas are number 1 seeds. UConn is number 2. Meanwhile, 2A star Travis Hunter has apparently decided not to participate in the University of Colorado's Pro Day. Hunter was supposed to be one of the star attractions at the event dubbed the We Ain't Hard to Find Showcase. Today, that is Coach Prime's slogan, right? I ain't hard to find. The other draw is quarterback Shedeur Sanders, who's expected to throw later today. Both Hunter and Sanders skipped workouts at the NFL Scouting Combine and the Big 12 Pro Day. Sports updates brought to you by Heavy Gym. It isn't just about lifting weights. It's about lifting your spirit, your strength, and your potential. Step into the gym that's changing lives. Find out more at heavygym.ca. And sign up, please, for our free newsletter. You'll get my exclusive 10 Weekend Things newsletter. It's the only place you can get it. You'll also get Darren DuPont's popular column called Moose Droppings. You'll get hot takes, betting advice, the best featured interviews of the week. Just take my word for it and sign up for free today at rodpeterson.com or scan the QR code on your screen. Colin in Ottawa writes in, he says, great show today, Roddy. Thank you, Colin, for tuning in. Of course, you loved it. It was a lot of CFL talk, particularly Ottawa. Very positive talk about the Ottawa Red Blacks, I might add. Paul in Humboldt writes in, he says, enjoy the NHL play-in tournament games this weekend, everyone. Have a great weekend. That's the thing. We talk one day a week football in the offseason makes it special, as opposed to beating a dead horse like the other networks in the States do. By the way, for those that are, I forgot what I was going to say. Al in Toronto, I couldn't see the Grey Cup, even tuning into a CBS. It was on CFL Plus. If you ever want to know, just ask me, because I know everything. Just ask me. What do we have here? 902-518-3033. Rob writes in, he's watching in the Queen City. He says, little late tuning in today. And I know it's Football Friday, but cool that 5 Canadian teams played last night in the NHL and they all won. Doesn't happen too often. Ruined my bets, though. LOL. Nobody cares about anybody else's bets. Nobody cares about your rec hockey team scores or your fantasy football teams. But you weren't writing in to talk about your bets. You were writing in to talk about the 5 Canadian teams winning last night. I understand that. And it was fun where we started this whole conversation today that on Saturday is our Florida Panthers watch party at the Yard House in Boca. I think it's going to be a massive... They're saying to RSVP, but I can fortunately say I don't have to because we're regulars there. Brent from Wellington, Florida is going to be there and his wonderful better half. It's going to be big fun watching the Panthers beat the Ottawa Senators. I think it's at 2 p.m. Eastern. Appetizers will be served for free from 1:30 to 2:30. I know that, I don't know who's paying for them. I know I'm not. There you go. Brent in Wellington, Florida says, Pedersen, table of 4. See you tomorrow. Let's go, Cats. Go, Cats, go. Thank you, Moose. Thank you, Jim Barker. Great job, Rocco. And anybody else who may be in the cubicle with you. Be safe this weekend, everybody. See you Monday.
Who has more fun than us?